Welcome back. This is Keith Vaz on Talking Points on Lyca Radio. I'm talking to Dr. Rupa Huq MP for Ealing Central and Acton about her early life and now about her parliamentary life. Which bit of your parliamentary life, because it is so big, it is so varied, it's a 24/7 job, which bits do you enjoy the most?
Well, yeah, as you say, Keith, no 2 days are the same. It's very varied. Actually, I like talking to school kids. So I do a lot of inbound visits when they come in to see Parliament, because with the London seat, it's not difficult for them to get across. Or I go and do school assemblies. So often on a Monday morning and Friday morning, I'm in a school showing them a few maybe PowerPoint pictures of Big Ben and stuff, and then I take Q&A. And I think children are refreshingly honest, and they've got inquisitive sort of young minds, and you hope that you can inspire them, because I'd never met an MP when I was their age. Most people haven't. There's only 650 of us. So I kind of say, if a little squirt like me can do this, there's no reason why any of you can't do the same and go even further, and be Prime Minister. And I remember I had an email from a parent who said, "Thank you for coming to my daughter's school." I said, "Do you want to be an MP then?" And she said, "Oh, no, not just an MP. I'm going to go further and be Prime Minister." So hopefully something I'm saying is sinking in.
Now, Ealing is obviously very, very special to you. You've won 3 general elections so far, and it's only been a few years since you've been there. But you really love Ealing, don't you? And obviously the people of Ealing have a strong affection for you. Tell us about some of the campaigns, or perhaps the campaign that you've enjoyed the most that you have conducted on behalf of the local people in Ealing.
I've been there 50 years. So halfway to 100. So it's where both my siblings still live. I don't have parents anymore, but it's where it's where I grew up. Both my schools are there that I attended. I think the campaign we've had the most success over is actually keeping the path to a clinic that we have there, a termination clinic, free of protesters, because for a while, a clinic that we have in Mattock Lane in Ealing, the pavement became impassable because there were different groups of protesters and counter-protesters over the abortion procedure, which is quite a controversial one. But I mean, the thing is, it's legal. Women are totally entitled to do this, and people should be able to use the public highway without there being a disturbance outside. So we've managed to roll this out nationally, that the immediate entrance to a medical facility should not be a site of protest. You can have your protest, but a certain number of metres down the road. The very early campaign I got into was to save our hospitals. We had 4 A&Es in the vicinity, and they were threatened with the axe. Luckily, in the 2019 election, we managed to reverse the awful closure programme, shaping a healthier future. So we managed to save A&E at Ealing and Charing Cross hospitals.
Now, you're a role model for Black, Asian and minority ethnic women. When I was elected many, many years ago, there were so few. Now there are quite a few. Do you think that the institution has changed and that they now accept the fact that there are going to be a lot of BAME women? And how do we get more in Parliament?
Yeah, no, Keith, you're a role model as well, because again, in that 1987 election, the first one I have consciousness of watching in a meaningful way, 4 young whippersnappers were elected, including yourself, including Diane Abbott, who's still there. Bernie Grant's no longer with us, but Paul Boateng I saw just the other day. He sits in the Lords. So we stand on the shoulders of giants. I think I am the 8th ever Asian woman MP, Valerie Vaz being one of the early ones in 2010. And I think I'm the 4th ever Muslim woman MP. So in those senses, yeah, you could say I'm somewhat of a trailblazer, but there won't be enough until we reflect the population. And that's the same with all those protected characteristics, with gender as well. I think Labour is now at 50-50, but I mean, on the whole, it's not that good, and it should be a 50-50 parliament. I mean, again, by doing talks in schools and people see that you don't have to have 2 heads to be a politician, that a normal person can do it, I'd like to think I'm inspiring the next generation, and just, it's incumbent on all of us who have made it to not pull up the ladder behind us, but to spread the good word and encourage other people to do the same across all parties.
Absolutely. And it's very clear from what you do that you are very supportive of others who want to get involved in Parliament. One very final, very quick question. Rupa Huq, you're Prime Minister for the day. What aspect of life would you like to change?
I think it's got to be housing. I do an advice surgery every Friday, and people come in and see me with their different problems, and they all seem to sort of come back to housing in one form or another. Damp and mould, overcrowding, people who can't get on the ladder who dearly love to buy. So I would have stock of genuinely affordable housing people can get on the ladder, but also secure council tenancies that can be passed on to the next generation for people of low and modest incomes, because those were all under the right to buy, snapped up by private landlords and never replaced. So, yeah. Blair said education. These days it's housing.
Dr. Rupa Huq MP, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your story and your ambitions with us. We always ask our special guests to choose a song that means something special to them and to dedicate it to someone special. I think I know who you're going to dedicate your song to. Which song would you like to choose, and whom would you like to dedicate it to?
I think the person we're both thinking of that I'll dedicate it to is my son Rafi, who's in his first year at Sussex University. I think the holidays are coming up very soon, but it's been a very steep curve of learning how to cook pasta and stuff for him, so I'll dedicate it to him. And this is Nazia Hassan. It's called Up Jasekoi, and I think it's also known as Bad Bun Joy. It's quite a jolly Bollywood tune from my youth.
Jolly Bollywood is what we want on Lyca Radio. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great Sunday.
Thank you so much, Keith, for having me on, and happy Christmas and best wishes to all the listeners of Lyca Radio.
Let's hear Dr. Rupa Huq MP's song.